You are the limitless. 4th January, 1980. This form just happened to come until I became conscious. I took no part, did nothing. Until this form and beingness came, what did I do for myself? One question on terminology: Atma Jnana, self-knowledge, and Brahma Vidya, Brahman knowledge, are they the same? There is no difference. Knowledge is Brahman, and Brahman is knowledge. All creatures are contained in it. It is just one word talking about another word. All this has no meaning, and knowledge is limitless. It is because we identify and limit this cursedness of individuality that we have inherited difficulties. But if we accept knowledge as total, limitless, with no identifications, there will be no problems. Because of our concepts, we are limited. I am limitless. Knowledge is limitless. Concepts are nails. Don't bother about what you should do or not do. Think that you are limitless, unborn, and not going to die. This identification with the body makes you think that you are born. Until I had form, I had no worries. I didn't even know that I had a form. Did I have suffering before identification with the body? No, it all began after the identification that I am this form. You now have come to know the truth. Are you certain that all your experiences are false? Are you not aware that what you have is time-bound and untruth? Life is limited. Whatever is limited is not truth. You know life is limited, and the one who knows this has the truth. The only capital you have is the knowledge I am. Be with the beingness, and it will solve all riddles. That you exist is a conviction. One should be with it only and not look elsewhere. What is your idea about yourself? I am not the body. I am something else that the senses cannot grasp. This conclusion, what makes this understanding possible? I like to be related to everyone. I feel relationships that are universal and individual. My feeling is of unity with people. Basically, is not your understanding because of the beingness that tells you that you exist. It is that which makes you understand everything. It is the knowledge that you are. Something tells you that you are. Leave everything and hang on to it. Until you had this knowledge, did you have needs? Before consciousness, were there any needs? I don't know about it. Even saying so, I don't know about it, is only because of the knowledge that you are. That is all. Be one with that which tells you that you exist. Don't we need a relationship of unity with others? No need to talk about unity. Everything else will be clear. Just be with it. Go wherever you like, but be one with this knowledge that you are. Forget the rest. It tells you that you exist, and it will solve all your riddles. The you are will undo selfishness. Until that voice, I am, of consciousness came, I was not concerned. Once it left, I went too. So be with the consciousness, the I am. All the teachings are based on this. This concern for the world is because of consciousness. It will be there as long as consciousness is there. Annihilate yourself by your own identity. 5th January, 1980. Just give attention to yourself, and everything else will be all right. We work hard to basically remember this and with a great intensity, rather than using the japamala, counting of rosary beads. It also sounds easy, but I'd appreciate more from you in your words. The I Am is all, the God. Just know that I Am is God. This is the first step. The knowledge I Am is yourself. All other activities will follow. You just get established in the knowledge. I Am. That is the sun. And all other activities are rays. Everything is spun out of I Am. The knowledge I Am, without memories and concepts, is everything. The idea I am the body and the mind is not knowledge. No effort is required. The main thing is that you are, or I am. When you listen to me and stay there, you'll understand that the knowledge I am is independent of body-mind. Friedman has described self-knowledge as factually as possible. Do I depend on you about what I know? Remember this, that there are thousands of experiences, but what is prior to all experiences? You are that. If we are just aware of the I Am, is that enough? When you were a child, did you know that you were there? What did you do? Nothing. Have you understood that the experiences of the world and yourself are without doing anything? Yes. Go to the source and be established there. Then there is no change. You might have read the Gita. Who is there to judge its soundness? The knowledge I Am has to approve whatever is said there. Establish yourself in the self. Whatever you are prior to the I Am, get established there. When this abidance in the self is achieved, all talks will be sound gibberish. I lost my shyness to talk. All that I spoke was profound. The knowledge in common parlance is professed in ignorance, like the child out of ignorance. So I know that worldly knowledge is a product of ignorance, and all true knowledge is prior to jhana, the absolute. Surrender to the Guru and meditate on the self. The reminder that you had parents is the reminder that you are. The reminder that parents were is the basic material, the primary source material. The primary ingredients of the consciousness are the same. Get rid of the pride that you are a jhani. Although you try to catch that state, the border of beingness and the absolute, it is ephemeral. Normally, even sages have no knowledge of the actual state of affairs. How did the union of the beingness and the five elements come by from the absolute? Your parents explain themselves to you, but do you really have the knowledge that they were your parents? What you have to drive at is, am I such a puny principle that is just a product of parents? Which pose, stance, or word is truthful? Even the four Vedas exclaimed, neti neti, not this, not this. But based on which ongoing activities of the world did the Vedas say this about the reality? It is beyond us. Therefore, with me also no honesty is left. Whatever the experiences, even the gods are limited up to the words only. There is no story of gods beyond words. If Krishna were to listen to me, he would say, I am blessed by his, Maharaj's words. Truth has no form and no name, while religions go by rules and rituals. Words cannot be true. Nevertheless, you must find out with what words you'd like to identify. With what identity would you like annihilation? In search of the self, Prophet Muhammad and other sages could not come to any conclusion in regard to their identity and say, I am Parabrahman, or anything else. And how could they? Have Christ, Prophet Muhammad, and other sages said anything about the truth? Where is the proof for Parabrahman, or the truth? In all worldly activities you are compelled to suffer and enjoy. Can you provide a proof of the Parabrahman? Who will accept the proof furnished, and by which authority? Form and name have been forcibly imposed on me. The primary concept is beingness. I have no name and form, only emotional understanding. Annihilate yourself by your own identity. Don't dabble in what others say, which is your most honest identity. No consciousness, no world. Investigate about your identity. The one who has realized his identity will not consider anything else more honest than it, because this identity of beingness is a fraud. Should we not investigate spiritual experiences? We have experiences, but no truth. Have experiences, but inquire about the experienced. Are they honest? In the first rainy season there was birth. In the second there was death. Who was born? Was it the rainy season or the person? Only the realized can tell, as he is nothing, a void. Whatever is gone. Whatever is not. Both are disposed of. Only the truth prevails. After the departure of both beingness and no beingness, whatever remains is the truth. Prior to this accident of the occurrence of body formation, everyone knows it, the truth. Only he who knows that there is nothing can say that there is the infinite and plenty. All our thoughts are about others, but don't bother about what others say. It is only because of this accident of birth that I suffer. But as a matter of fact, I have no birth. The Soundless Sound, 6th January 1980. The waking and the sleep state combined is the beingness. Because of it, the world is. The beingness depends on the food essence. So what are we then? What is the path to follow? Meditate on the self, not on anything else. The beingness itself will tell you how it arose and will disappear. Meditation on something is easy, but meditation on the self is rather difficult. Did Buddha say all this? The very same. Buddha's directives, are they followed? All the codes of conduct, but not the essence. Millions have no idea beyond the codes of conduct like eat this or eat that. Is this knowledge or just ways to pass time? Finally, people are slaves to time. They follow the dictates of time. I know nothing about rebirth, only this birth, and having known it, I know it is not. With the body's association, the so-called knowledge is received and accordingly people behave. What knowledge have you apart from the information collected from the outside? That's all we get. What is it you get? Not much. After the stamping of birth is done, what knowledge do you have then? You are told about birth. What other information? None. This knowledge I am is for each man to understand and be still in it. By understanding the self, you understand the world. What else is there? You are as large as the world. If you are, the world is. Otherwise, not. With what identity of yourself did you read books? Were you reading as a woman? Knowledge is neither male nor female. No, not female or male. What about the reader? Me? While reading, you know yourself as a woman? No. After reading? Female. God or heaven is momentary. Nothing after that, and for me it is nothing at all. All these gods, what are they? What is their promise? How do they exist? In which state are they? Presently I am in that state where beingness has been forcibly imposed. The longer it stays, the longer is the suffering. But it is going to disappear. Sustenance is for a moment. Understand the moment. The moment since when, how long, and due to what. All the paraphernalia of this world is its expression. The one who realizes this grows knowledgeable in the process of gathering this information. Thus you came to the root of knowledge. You realize it and transcend it. Stabilize yourself prior to intelligence. The knowledge expounded here is valuable, but people are not mature enough to understand it. In due course they may. Many do penances and have a deep urge, yet knowledge is not available to them. Do you think you understand? Memories, words. There are two types of sounds. The one that you hear and the primordial, unstuck, soundless sound. The moment you feel when you wake up, that is the unstuck sound. Later, you know that you are, and all other sounds follow. The you are or I am, all sounds are based on it. It is a language without words, unstuck, soundless. It is nothing. Is there a parallel state between the waking and sleep states on one hand and the consciousness on the other, which is so-called birth? Yes, there is a very subtle state. Presently it is rather gross, but in childhood it is a very fine, subtle state. The I am is employed like an instrument, like vision for the eye. Whenever there is vision, there is the world. The actual observer has no color, no design. The trap of birth and death is because of the I am. Dwell on it, realize it, and transcend it. That one has the knowledge. All experience is time-bound. What would you call that which witnesses the disappearance of thought? Think if you like, but the thought process will disappear. You may gather a lot of knowledge, but you are still trapped in body consciousness. Knowledge gathering is a trap. Just like the web of a spider, the birth concept is a source of suffering. As long as you hold on to that idea, you will not be liberated. When liberated, you are nirguna, without qualities, the ever-liberated. Nirvana means no sample. The saguna, with qualities, Brahman, attains nirvana. Beingness is the quality to be. Nirguna means no quality, and nirvana too means no quality. The Telescope, 9th January, 1980. The 5 elements are in full activity without any selfish motive. Similarly, everything is happening here. There is no self-identity. With beingness gone, there is complete fulfillment of the self, which means I have transcended it too. The space is everywhere. All the other elements, air, fire, water, and earth, are the aspirant, where the 3 gunas are working. But there is no self-interest. With the beingness, the self-interest arises through vegetation. All the disputes, wars, and conflicts are in the 5 elemental world. But the 5 elements have no interest in them. There is no use of good thoughts or bad thoughts. This is all a play of the 5 elements. Is man always subject to the 5 elements until the body dissolves? What is this object called man? When dead, he is cremated. How is he apart from 5 elements? Is there a man who has control over the elements? It happens spontaneously. If there is fire here, I shall immediately rush to extinguish it. So long as the 5 elemental juice, the essence, prevails, that is the touch of I am. Their activities will happen. A realized man is not subject to the 5 elements while in body. Translator. His beingness and body will be subjected. But today, where are the miracle makers? Where were they prior to the body form? Gautama, the Buddha said, "Look upon me wither in old age. This is the nature of Nisargadatta, nature itself. Do I say anything different? Miracles happen. But what is the meaning of that? What difference have they made in the 5 elements? With all this play, the moment-to-moment changes, could they challenge the arsenal of nature? Krishna, Christ, and others have come and gone. I am referring to a state prior to their beingness and how and when they appeared in the manifested world. It was because of the essence of the 5 elemental juices, the knowledge I am, that they appeared. Where are they now? How did you happen to be? Assuming that the world exists, where is the cause of your appearance? You have a telescope. It is an object through which you observe the cosmos, but the observer is apart from the telescope. You will not get peace through worldly knowledge. This telescope body has innumerable nuances and titles. To fabricate it with the raw material of the 5 elements, it took 9 months, and through it you observe everything, but the observer is not in the telescope. What were we doing 8 days prior to conception? To say I was observing prior to the conception stage is incorrect. At that stage, does it, beingness, know itself? No being and no beingness is a form for Brahman. Prior to conception, it is oblivious to itself. What is the telescope embodied in the body? Is it not the beingness that you preserve? But you, the Absolute, are not the beingness. You will not get peace through worldly knowledge. This telescope has innumerable nuances and titles fabricated with the raw material of the 5 elements. It took 9 months. Through it you observe all, but the observer is not the telescope. Was there ever a time when I was not embodied? Because of the telescope, there is observation of the manifest. When the telescope goes, is the observer also destroyed? The observer has no qualities. The observer cannot be defined without telescope. Once you understand the 5 elemental play, you are unaffected by it. You stand apart from it. I experienced the world due to what instrument? How did this instrument happen to be? What is the cause of it? The dead don't interfere with the live men. The one who has understood and realized the beingness, the observer, has no connection and no interest in it. You throw out all worldly talks and concepts totally. The mind goes on chattering and you want to be one with it, just keep out of it. And you wake up. The chattering mind synchronizes with the vital breath. It tells you about spiritual pursuits. Remember, you are prior to the chattering mind. Breathing goes on, chattering goes on. The chattering mind has brought you here in the name of spirituality. But prior to it, you were. From deep sleep you wake up. That border is Paravani, beyond words. When you move, become conscious, you feel I am. Then mind takes charge. Words take over and you are embroiled in the world. Paravani is other than language. Para means other or transcend. The language of just being without words, but I, the Absolute, am not that. Paul's psychic experiences are spontaneous. What stirred them? The 5 elements and then Kundalini gave a shock? The main point is know the I am and just be there. Just be to realize no beingness. 8th January 1980. How do things happen around Ajani? In the case of a child, the development takes place because of the parents. Because of the beingness, body formation in the world is spontaneous, while Ajani is nature himself. So it is nature's problem to look after him. So yogis live for hundreds of years upside down without water and whatnot. They do so for the prolongation of their lives, for personal satisfaction, and as out of a sense of duty towards the spiritual field. Beingness depends on what? You try to prolong your life, but when something goes wrong, death results. The confidence and knowledge that you are, on what does it depend? Beingness becomes no beingness, and no beingness spontaneously becomes beingness. So whom should we question? You should question yourself. Investigate it. What is the support of the I am? On what does the faith that you are depend? Why is there beingness? Why am I? How am I? People only think of the body and mind, and then come death, and the faith I am disappears. Some want to prolong life. They have self-love. Are they caught in Maya? Once they transcend the I am the body idea, longevity does not matter. For their existence, they don't depend on anything. Without depending on anything, you must find out yourself. Whenever you think on something else that you are not. How to think on yourself? You cannot. You only have to be thought-free. You may think that there is no Iswara, but you cannot think of yourself. What were you doing 8 days prior to conception? Do you or I know? 8 days prior to entering the womb? Only you can tell about that state. What about beingness before conception? If you were aware of beingness, would you care to enter the womb? I don't remember. It's not possible because it is a non-attentive state. With beingness, attention starts. In the womb, it is dormant. The border of beingness and no beingness, that point, is a glorious state, the non-attentive state. What was the name of this ladder I am holding before it was manufactured? When sick, one takes medicine. There is beingness, therefore we meditate and strive for knowledge. Otherwise, where is the need? There is no need for knowledge prior to beingness. Even Vishnu closed his eyes in samadhi and disappeared. And doing nothing? What can they do? Presently you feel you are because of the association with the vital breath. When that association is not there, can you do anything? Can I do anything to get knowledge? Do nothing except hold on to yourself. Be in beingness. Just be, and you will realize how it will turn into no beingness. Catch hold of, dwell, and contemplate on the beingness. Just be. The whole day? Who says whole day? Who else can say except the beingness? Beingness can capture everything in its contemplation, but beingness cannot capture itself. Translator. Sound can cut everything except itself. Is it because of karma that I came back? There is no karma in the state of Parabrahman. Why is it necessary to come back in body form? In this room, space is there. Why has it extended? Why and how? Space out and space in. Only space exists, always. Where's the question of how and why? Why do we come back in body form? This is relevant to you as long as you are. As long as the body has energy, there are the world experiences. 8 days prior to conception, whatever was, it prevails even now. What are you presently suffering? It's the name, an association of the body form and the beingness. Ponder over it prior to conception. and you will get an instant solution. What is the relationship between that state and karma? Karma is what we create. Who creates who? Whoever creates you creates karma. Karma is the movement or activity. To Elaine, a disciple, I am trying to keep you trapped as though you are in a womb. Just listen carefully and everything will sprout. Elaine, I can't bear a wrong question. It's a small blunder that we go and identify with the body form, the first and last mistake. Remember the seed which created the body, its life. You experience the world due to it. The seed gone, and you are in an eternal state. Just like the tree out of a seed is the beingness and this entire manifested world. My ego, others' egos, whatever I hear, is it all in the beingness? Yes, your dreams. Questions sprout according to one's level, and they are correct. Presently, if at all you have to be interested in anything, it is the 8 days prior to conception, Para-Brahman state. The ego is used today, but to what is this label attached? And when? Everything is most sacred and everything is most unsacred. All this is as long as beingness is there. Self-love itself is an illusion. Everyone wants beingness. I love is an illusion, yet other sages praise it. Prior to 8 days, how were you? An intellectual person would say, I was in a dormant condition and the essence of my parents. This is a conventional reply. Try to trace your parent, go to eternity. This principle in the dormant form goes into eternity. There are 2 approaches. Either you get established in the state prior to beingness, or you get caught in diverse concepts and fail to investigate your true nature. As such, conventional knowledge is not destroyed, and there is no reason for its destruction because basically it is an untruth. Another basic concept is that of the Purna Purusha, the perfect or complete man. The perfect principle is that which existed prior to anyone's birth. There is some similarity between the ignorant child in the cradle and the jnani. The child does not differentiate between urine and fecal matter. Only the child knows as to how it knows itself. So is for the jnani. Then should we give up everything and become a child? Where's the question of denominating everything? It has spontaneously come. Only understand that you suffer because of the beingness. Did you go and catch hold of it? No, it has come spontaneously. The child does not have any concepts, ideas, and ego. The jnani, having understood the state of affairs, transcends all these and abides eternally in the state prior to beingness, irrespective of whether the beingness is better or not. With what identity will you now go about? None. Are you sure? If so, then is there any necessity or purpose for spiritual pursuits? Actually, no reason at all. What is ignorance? From the waking to sleep to the beingness state, all means ignorance. This ignorance, called birth, is the waking, sleep, and the beingness state. Once you know this, and you are convinced about it, you are free. Only see the faults as faults. Then doership goes too. Your doing this or finding that will not affect you. Prior to the appearance of beingness, for ages you were perfect and complete as the Para-Brahman. A jnani gives no importance to the waking, sleep, and beingness states. No rope, no serpent. To say all this is false. Do you need any effort, Paul? Once you know, no effort is involved. You dismiss it off as ignorance, and there is no registration. You are not whatever you experience. 10th January, 1980. The jnani, who is apart from body identification, is not affected by the sorrows that body-mind bring. Joseph, from what standpoint will you write to me? From I am. She has been writing for about a month here. From what standpoint will you write? Do I have to reply? Will you be writing in the same state? The one who tries to abide in the self loses identity with his ego. The very identity that I am gets dissolved. Your identity, the Absolute, is prior to the I am. How can you provide a uniform, the ochre robe, to it? We accept every person's view of life. Earlier it was more intolerable than now. Now I tolerate so many things. That one is looking through his telescope. Yes, but playing with concepts is not abidance in the true self. To find the self, one must go to silent places. I like that. But when one has the insight, it is not necessary. Who says that he seeks silence? Earlier, I presumed that I was created. Later, after listening to my guru, I understood that the experience was created or appeared, but not me. The creation of this beingness, this experience, is a result of the 5 elements and their interactions. With the view I was created come the fears of life and death. I just prevail as a result of the 5 elements, and this experience of beingness is created for no reason. I, the Absolute, am not the created. It excludes the Absolute. The observer behind the telescope is not created. The object has been created. You want to be in silence without meditation, which you are not doing. What are you doing? From where do you know that you are? In the knowingness lies everything. You have presumed that you are behind the telescope, but you have not understood. Whatever you understand is something else. You don't understand yourself. I cannot understand. Whatever you understand, you cannot be that. You are putting a question like this. A donkey is going by the road and you inquire about him. How are you concerned with that? You know that you are not the donkey. Whatever you experience is not you. In this matter you will not satisfy your itch by talking. Elsewhere you may talk and be satisfied. What is meditation? Meditation is to reject all experiences, to be in an experienceless state. To realize this trick, you have to be in meditation. What is the experience? The experience to be. Suppress that also. The one who observes both the no-being and being state is in the true state. You only get experiences of what you are not. Beingness is also an experience. Merge it with no-beingness. Beingness goes into no-beingness. The Absolute does not know that it is. It only prevails. To turn beingness into no-beingness, assiduously follow meditation, or else you will be like a calf frisking. Be in meditation, and you will stabilize. And then stop there, or else you will be like a calf whose ear has air in it. To meditate is to realize that we do not experience. Translator. The primary experience you are, that too should also be negated. Experience has to become invisible together with the I love beingness. What about noise in meditation? Your senses and limbs are still active. They are not under your control. By meditation, this weakness of your mind should be overthrown. How intensely should one meditate? While Kabir meditated, a dog bit him. Someone came and told him, "A dog has bitten you." Kabir replied, "The dog knows and the skin knows." A deep yearning must be there. Like when you are worried about something, you will be thinking about it. Next morning, something must be done for money. Because of it, there was no sleep. You'd go straight for the money. You need it desperately, so you keep thinking about it. In the spiritual field, you need to progress so intensely that you keep thinking it, your true identity. With persistence, you reach, but you must want it badly. How You Met Your Parents, 12th January, 1980. So long as the breathing goes on, the mind flow goes on. If you take yourself to be a body, the mind will have effect on you. Knowledge means to get rid of all concepts. Not acquire, but get rid of concepts, like birth. Even of this birth you have no experience. Don't accept anything told. You need not consult sages either. You know that you are, so the world appears. With this knowledge, give attention to this knowledge. Then knowledge will tell you what you are. When you came to know that you are, you knew it on your own. Like nourishment in the womb is automatic. Parents usually don't know. The real birth is prior to 9 months, then the so-called birth. Only at the age of 3 or so, the child recognizes the mother and starts learning, which is ignorance. There is consciousness, but there are so many forms. Why? This is the quality of the consciousness to appear in variety. The soul is one. From the 5 elements arise the various forms. It is because of wrong identification with the body that this knowledge, I am, is required. Atman is self-love. It has brought you here safely. Worship it as the Lord, Iswara. Take yourself as Iswara. Then you know what you are, and once you know what you are, all desires will be fulfilled. The knowledge I am is like sweetness. It has no form. You eat fish, one body is food for another. This body is food for the I am. People ask questions. I look upon them as ignorant children. At the age of 3, they started learning this so-called knowledge. Your identity is in a continuous flux. As an old man, you are spoon-fed. You have no memory. No identity is faithful and honest. After self-knowledge, your faith and your selfishness drop away. Because of identification with the body, you say that you are a man or a woman. If there is no body, how can you say you are a man or a woman? You have no birth or experience of birth, but the ignorant one is very much afraid at death. For the one transcending this beingness, while the vital breath is leaving, he has no fear, no concept, only great joy. Please, all those gathered here are selfish. They are interested in the self only. Real knowledge is to know that you have no identity. Is effort necessary for self-knowledge? What questions did you ask before meeting your parents? Silence means no activity, total cessation of activity. Why come to a place of activity? When there is no need for words and their meanings, then there is silence. I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, means the Absolute. If there is no body, there is no guna, quality. My teaching is simple. I am not the body, and I am not the beingness. Beingness being a product of food essence. There are no rules for consciousness. A king's experience in the womb is no different from an ordinary person's. There is no beingness in the Absolute and no rules for the beingness. With my Guru's grace, I know how the beingness has appeared. I am like what I was prior to beingness. I am not born. There cannot be a witness to my experience. If there is a witness, then it cannot be true. Constant meditation is required to grasp this knowledge. Are relatives mithya? Yes. Can the sun see his dead rays? That is the standpoint of Ajani. So long as you take yourself as body, problems will arise. Ajani has transcended this illusion. Just forget everything and dwell on how you met your parents. If doubts are not cleared, go to the moment when your acquaintance got acquainted with your parents. If nothing is really there, how can a jhani make others feel the need of a jhani? Everyone, from plants to creatures, want and know the I Am to be there. Once we have existence, we want it to continue. Your experience is because of the beingness. The world depends on beingness. Is it happy or miserable? When your beingness is not there, is it happy or miserable? Why did Ramana work on his mother to realize before death? The reality, what his mother was, he knew, but he did that out of love. Affection for what? When there is no beingness, are you concerned with anything? The knowledge I am is whole universe, not only body. So Ramana has no mother? He himself does not exist. A jhani is the absolute. If someone worships a jhani, he does not know it. In the worshipper, the beingness is still there, and the jhani, although he does not know him, yet he helps him. The field of consciousness is a mystery. Be humble. Don't be proud. Make friendship with the self, and it will tell you all. The seed has the complete photo of the plant. A seed of rice will not produce wheat. How? Go there to the source. A great tree comes from the seed. It contains the complete tree. Similarly, the beingness contains the whole universe.